Hey, I'm Ryan, and this is Get Your Mind Right. So I'm on my way to work, and good morning. I'm feeling really good, and this topic has been on my mind for so long. And it's basically women thinking that it won't happen to them when it comes to romantic relationships. Or you could also rephrase it as, I'm the exception to the rule, so that's not going to happen to me. And having this mindset, I don't think it's nothing wrong with having this mindset in certain occasions. Certain occasions you can't go with what the crowd is saying. You can't go with the crowd saying that, you shouldn't try to go get your PhD. It's going to take very, very long. It may not even be worth it. That's something you could say, you know what, it may take long for you and it may take long for me, but I may enjoy the journey of the loneliness that it's going to take. I'm going to be the exception to the rule. That in that nature, ladies, do that. Do that. You want to get into a business and everyone's saying, oh, that business is saturated. Don't do it. And you say, you know what, F that. I'm getting into this business. I'm going to thrive in it. That's good. Do stuff like that. But when it comes to romance, for some odd reason, we really sincerely think that it would not happen to us. We will watch a TV show like the TV show called Snap. We will watch a show like that, see about 10 to 20 scenarios that look dead on our scenario, and really find the smallest thing to say, oh, that's not going to happen to me. It could either be the man was fat, so that's why he killed her. It could be, he didn't know how to tie his shoelaces. Oh, he was bald-headed, so that's why he snapped. My dude ain't bald-headed. But they have everything else in common. For some weird reason that we as women will have all the evidence that match every other goddamn scenario. Every goddamn scenario. And we will still say, that's not happening to me, or that's not going to happen to me. And then what I notice is that when one woman is telling her story, right? Usually as you're watching it, you're not even trying to look for the similarities. You're automatically looking for the differences in what she's saying. And how, nope. She said he called her a bitch. And my dude only called me a slut. So that's two different things. They're not going to be the same type of man. That's how much we would try our best to look for this, to define the differences. Something that I learned on having a different perspective is that when you listen to somebody's story, you don't look for the differences. The differences is clear as day. That's not you telling the story. So that's the big difference right there. What you look for is the similarities in people. So as you watching me, you don't get on here and just automatically start talking crap saying, oh, I don't look like her, I don't have an afro, blah, 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 blah. No, you look at me and you find the similarities that me and you have in common. And then from there you build. You already know the difference between me and you. I don't need to tell you that. No one needs to tell you that. You can see that. But no, what as human beings, we listen to stories and we look for, I did this slight thing different. Oh, she had sex with him on the first date, but I just gave my dude head on the first date. But if we look for the similarities, and then you say, oh, he called her out her name on the third date. The dude I was seeing called me out on my name on the fifth date, but it's still the principle. These not our men. Even if they were our men, they should not be calling us out of our name. That's what I mean by looking for the similarities and stuff. Stop going in on everything, trying to find the differences. Because the more you do that, the more you are creating like a wall around yourself. The more you're creating this high horse. And It's nothing wrong with you being on your high horse in certain occasions in life. Yet, I just feel like when it comes to romance, we really have a thing with hearing somebody's story and really just gutting it up to make it so different from us. And I wonder, as I'm saying this, do we do that because we actually see the similarities? So it's kind of hard for us to want to like look at that straight on. So we have to come in and gut it up because the similarities are so you don't want to admit to it yet that no, you have to say that no, this person is so different than me. No, that scenario is not nowhere close to my own. But the more you try to compare it, or not even so much compare it, the more you look at a woman's story and say, for instance, she dealt with emotional abuse. You know, I really didn't know what emotional abuse was growing up when I was younger because, truth be told, I've done it to people. You know, I just figured abuse was physically hitting somebody. I didn't know what financial abuse was until I think I watched a Lifetime movie in my teens. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know what elderly abuse was. And I really learned more about it when I went to college. And I took a community health worker program. And I was like, oh, elderly abuse is real. So it's all different types of abuses that are out there. And so the more that you know about it and the more that you take it serious, hearing somebody's story, you will believe it more. And not for the sake of, you know, just believing them, but for you to learn something out of it. Because it's really sad as a woman when I know other women, they're telling me something and I'm telling them, oh, that is exactly happened to me. Oh, I remember that stuff happened to such and such too as well. You better watch out because this is what most likely will happen. Be prepared. Oh no, Ryan, no, that's not going to happen. I'm the exception to the rule. As soon as you tell a woman that, oh, that happened to me, that happened to Boone, that happened to Dude, that happened to, you give all these lists of people who it happened to. You may even tell a little bit of the details, just to show how similar the story is, just to show how most likely this may be your result. No, sirree, Bob. Then they start doing the delusional game, where you repeating to them what they just told you, but now that ain't what happened. They didn't say that. So you telling me I'm now putting words in your mouth? That's the delusional game, when they start telling you they didn't say that, and then now they're repeating something totally opposite. Now they're trying to say something totally positive about the person. So the more that you stay on this high horse when it comes to romance, I'm telling you now, you're putting yourself on a lonely island. I see that happen with too many women. Sit up there and you basically get tired of talking about it. You get tired of having this type of drama. You actually get tired of it a little bit because you actually tired of everybody having the same comment to you over and over and over. But you haven't realized you're having the same conversation over and over and over and over and over. That's why people are giving you the same commentary. That's just like you looking online at vloggers on a topic and you start to realize everybody's saying the same thing. You researching the same thing over and over and over again. What do you think you're going to eventually find? You're going to find some repetition in there multiple occasions. At least 75% of the information you're going to find is the same thing. Because you keep looking for the same thing. So while you keep creating this high horse and then you create this lonely island that you be on because now you're tired of talking about this man. You're tired of talking about this romantic relationship that's not going right for you. You tired of it, and you tired of getting the same response from people. But like I said earlier, you haven't put two and two together to realize you're getting the same response because you're asking the same thing, talking about the same thing over and over and over again. It's really a cycle like that. And sometimes when we're in it, like you legitly, I don't know how you can't see it, because maybe because I examine the conversations that I have with people, or before I say something to somebody, I actually talk it through myself first. I don't see how you don't see that you're repeating the same stuff over. I really don't see that part, but I mean, you don't see it, you don't see it. And maybe you just really too caught up in two different mind frames where you just really can't see it. I don't know. But the more you do that, like I said, you isolate yourself on that little bitty island with that man, and then you start snapping. You start snapping on folks who ain't did nothing to you. You start wanting to do certain things, but now you can't. And it's not so much of your finances. It's because you own that lonely island with that irritating ass man. But this is what happens when you are on your high horse. This is what happens when you constantly hear the same storyline that matches the same storyline as yours, but think that it's going to be different. This is what really happens. You get yourself put on a goddamn island. And now you on the island with this man. You can't go outside. You can't do your thing. You stuck with him. And you can't tell nobody, because what? Because then you scared everybody gonna tell you, say, oh, I told you so. It's not so much as they gonna say, oh, I told you so. It's more so of like, I told you that you were going to have this as a result. Why did you go and do it? It's like, why you trust me when I say 1 + 1 is 2? Because the evidence is concrete there. But when you told me your story and I told you my story, and then I told you Lisa's story, Susan's story, and then I told you the stories that I seen on TV, on the crime shows. I told you those stories. So I told you about at least 4 to 5 stories that match your same storyline, but you didn't want to believe me. But you believe me with 1 + 1. Oh, because y'all may feel it's concrete evidence. That's concrete evidence of telling somebody their story. That's concrete evidence. Crazy. But concrete evidence is only, which makes sense that us human beings feel like that. Concrete evidence is only the evidence that you feel like shows up in your life. So because the actual result hasn't happened yet, that's not concrete evidence to you. Damn, it's good. So this is what usually happens 100% of the time. When we women get on that high horse and we get on into the point that stuff start happening in our romantic relationships, and then guess what? We are too much on this high horse. We're too stuck on that lonely island that we can't come down because we done talked all that stuff about people. We said that wasn't gonna happen to us. So now our pride is mixed in it. Our pride is now mixed in it. So now you're not trying to exit the situation. And when you finally do tell somebody, they're just going to be actually hurt that you sat up there and allowed yourself to go through that treatment for no reason. After they gave you the game. After they told you. We need to really stop as women. When I hear women's stories of them doing stupid stuff, and it's cool for you to say the word stupid, because that's really what it is. It's stupid. They're doing something stupid. They're being stupid. When I hear stories like that and I say to myself, I know I wouldn't do that because that was some real dumbass shit. I would say that to myself, right? But I don't just trash talk the woman. Like if I don't trash talk her in a sense of like a put down of I wouldn't do it. It's more so like, "Oh, you stupid for doing that, and all that evidence is right there and you still did it," she probably was desperate for love. Okay, I understand. That's it. It ain't like I gotta sit up there and hold her hand and go say a prayer for her. No, I'm not telling y'all to do that. It's just more so of you thinking to yourself, oh, okay, let me keep, like, I was watching a interview on Tasha K channel, and she had the lady who I guess was having an affair with Sean from Boyz II Men, and she was talking about she got caught up in the Israelite people, because I guess they're into the men having multiple wives. As soon as she said that, I said, oh, I know. I already know. Now, have I been with an Israelite man? No. Would I get caught up with one of them? No. But am I saying to you, oh, I see how she got caught up with it? Yes, because those men got mouthpieces like you ain't never heard before. I've been around them type of dudes. And don't let them start talking about history. Oh, my Lord. They get you wrapped up in that, especially if you a woman of color, you a black woman. Now you feeling like you intertwined with your king. Child, it's a messing around with those type of men. Those men will get you. They got mouthpieces. And me knowing that ever since I was a little kid, from them being outside, them being on, remember back in the day, Jerry Springer used to have good shows. He used to have really good shows. From them being on TV shows like that, man, I'm telling you, those men got mouthpieces. So I already know that I'm not going to try to play the game and think I'm going to be the exception to the rule. I won't get caught up in that. Only way I would try to play some game like that if I just wanted to have intercourse with one of them. And I don't know how the hell I will avoid not getting caught up with his words, because that's going to make you want to have intercourse with them. But see, that's what I mean by I'm not going to sit up here and get on my high horse and be like, well, I do think she's stupid, but I'm not going to sit up here and get on a high horse point to think that it couldn't happen to me. If I put myself in that scenario, if I put myself in that environment, hell yeah, that can happen to me. Now, I keep myself out of that environment, then it's not going to happen to me. But we as women will go put ourselves in the same environment that we see that the situation happened in and say, it's not going to happen to me. That's where we mess up at. That's where it just doesn't make sense to me at. You can't sit up here and go in the same environment and kind of not expect that being your result. You know what I mean? It's like plants. If the directions on a plant say put it in the sunlight, it needs the sunlight. Yes, you had that one or two stories of people saying, girl, I remember I had that plant. I was blessed that day because I was never putting that plant in the sunlight and it just grew. Thank God, but I ended up eventually putting it in the sunlight. You may hear those one or two stories of grace, because that's what that's called. You may hear the 1-2 stories of grace. And then you're going to take it and be like, I'm not going to put my plant in the sunlight because I heard 2 people say that plant still grew without being in the sunlight. You're not going to do that. You're going to say, oh, y'all was stupid. I'm putting my plant in the sunlight. Well, at least I know if I ever forget to open a curtain, the plant may survive. That's different. So my main point of you watching this video is for you to really grasp as a woman that when it comes to romantic relationships, listen to the woman's story. Listen to it. Try to look for the similarities in things. This isn't me saying to you that if you hear a woman's story and you dating a really decent dude, that if she says she was dating somebody who treated her like crap and he liked to play video games, that don't mean you go to your boyfriend and say, hey, you playing these video games, are you going to eventually treat me like crap? No, that don't mean that. Because you know, with human beings, you really have to tell people stuff like this, or they will really turn around and say, well, you said X, Y, and Z. Trust me, I've had people say stuff like this to me where I'm like, you didn't know how to decipher that? So that doesn't mean that. I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it in the sense of, you know that her storyline matches very closely to yours, and you recognizing these similarities is going to teach you something, either get out of a situation or knowing how to control a situation much better. That's what I mean by you recognizing y'all's similarities. Please do not start messing up a happy relationship because you're listening to somebody else's negative relationship. You should be smart enough. You're smart enough to be in a good, decent relationship. I know you're smart enough to be able to decipher that, okay, yes, my man treated me right. Yes, her man liked to play basketball. My man liked to play basketball. Her man treated her wrong does not mean because my dude liked to play basketball means he's going to equal that he's going to treat me wrong. Okay, that's what I mean. Please don't mess up something good trying to be funny, trying to prove a point to me of saying, see, Ryan, this is why you got to be on the high horse, that you do something like that. Don't do stuff like that. Okay? Stop being in competition with each other so goddamn much. Okay? Just stop. Stop being on your high horse so much with other women. If you see a woman who her style is kind of little, needs some help with her style, okay, tell her. Give her some of your old clothes. Don't be so much on your high horse. Get off your high horse. Stop trying to be the exception to the rule so much and just learn. You'd be so surprised of the stuff that you learn from other people by just listening and not going in so combative, not going in ready to bring that heat, but just listening. You'd be surprised what you learn, and you'd be surprised what you then are able to do with that information in the future.